Before I even started this movie, I had high hopes, all right? You guys mentioned that this is one of the good ones, and I was like, okay, I'll believe you. Before I even started, I noticed that this is one of the longer movies so far, so this is a proper movie that we're actually getting. And oh, is it a good one? Like, if you haven't seen this one, you could pause and go watch it, and then you could come back later. I'll be here, because I think this is a good one, and I think you should watch it, and we're just going to ramble about it, all right? This movie has a vibe, but I think it's also the first movie out of this whole collection so far that knows it has a vibe. Through every scene, you can hear the cold, harsh ocean, the silent echoes of a cavern, the cheer of a living city. Visually, we seem to be using 3D, and that's a gamble. It could go either way with 3D. But of course, we get to see our opening scene, and we get this beautiful spectacle. Like, the ocean was depicted as something really cold and threatening and real. We showcase the island in this 2.5D one take, where as we're traveling through this, it felt so alive, you know? This wasn't trying to be like a live town. This is a living town. You can hear people talking in the streets. They're interacting with each other, interacting with you. You can even see the individual districts from pubs and bars, back alleys, the wanted posters on the walls. I love how this quickly transitions over into the first scene with the Straw Hats. Everything about this sequence, I love so much. Here's where we also get a lot of the nice character interactions I'm hoping for. We see Luffy eating and the crew is judging him because they're all broke. Usopp and Chopper are arguing. Sanji gets Robin something to drink. It all feels natural, like it's casual downtime. And it's not just in this one scene. There are a lot of shots of the Straw Hats just getting ready. And we didn't have to do that, but I love that we show this. And all of this is happening while the plot is still happening. It's doing both at the same time. It doesn't feel like we're pausing everything to have some small goofs and then coming back to this. Instead, it feels like every shot has a purpose. We have the establishing shot going into the bar so that we can learn that the Straw Hats are broke so that we could go into the main plot of the story. The bartender tells them to go through the secret tunnel entrances. We even get like a bar fight scene, and it's like, this is what I've been wanting. We use objects in the bar. People are thrown around everywhere. There are these chains that are connected to a ship on top of a bar. And we see characters jumping and being tied to it. As soon as I saw the boat up there, I was like, that is an amazing set piece. I hope we use it. And we do. That's it. How long is this review? No. Cut it short. Like, we're done here. We know it's good. We already know it's good. But I'm going to keep talking about this movie. So we get Team Straw Hat, we get a new bounty hunter called Schreier, and the bad guy pirate, Gasparde. And their interactions are golden. The bounty hunter clearly leans on the side of the Marines, which contrasts beautifully to the bad guy, Gasparde, who has a Marine jacket with an X over it, showing that like, oh, he knows a thing or two about the Marines. You're telling me this guy used to be an ex-Marine? The bounty hunter mentions that he could be going after Luffy if he wasn't already going after Gasparde. And the bad guy, Gasparde, simultaneously thinks Luffy talks a big game that he can't back up. So it is this fascinating formula where all of these three characters have so much chemistry with each other. But right, we should talk about the plot. This movie has a plot. It's always moving towards it, but it doesn't really show itself until a chunky portion of the movie. Like, there's a lot of setup and downtime, but it never feels like we're waiting. The characters might be drinking at a bar, moving around. We might get a cool set piece every now and then, but there is a plot that we're always moving towards. In short, the Straw Hats are broke and they want to make money. And what's the best way to make money on this island? A race. There are two rules to this race. One, be the first one to make it to an island. And two, there are no other rules. Dare I say, this is better than the game Foxy wanted to play. One of the things that these movies have been doing so far that I've really liked is constantly referencing other events. For example, to start the race, it doesn't matter where you are, you just wait on the shore, and every couple of years, we get a mix of the Aqua Laguna pushing up into a reverse mountain. We already have concepts that we're familiar with, and that explains a lot of the questions you might have. Like, why do we only race on specific times? Well, that's when the water comes up. Why does that mountain look like it has so many converging paths? That's because no matter where you are on the island, you're going to end up on the top of that mountain. Now, I am going to keep pointing this out, but I was very nervous when I saw 3D in this movie, and that very quickly went away. In fact, there are a lot of complex shots in this movie, and we take full advantage of 3D, but then also know when to swap over to 2D when it's not required. So I love that we get a lot of complex shots, but we're not just spamming it and we know when to use it. So the race starts and everyone's heading forth. The reason why I say that I like this more than Foxy's game is because we see a lot of ships destroying each other. It is pure spectacle. We see cannons destroying other ships, pirates raid other ships, everyone's brawling, the ships even collapse and crash into the sides of the shore. There is so much property damage. Honestly, everyone in this race is a psychopath. But they all signed up for it, so it's okay. The Straw Hats are getting hunted down by other pirates, and ooh, this whole time it feels like that one pointing meme. Like literally this is what I want from one of these movies. Sanji and Zoro get their own dedicated fight, and it feels like the directors are like, yeah, we know you want some of this, so like, here's a shot. But no, we're not gonna have them fight fairly. We're gonna bring in Sea Kings. Why not? And I'm also sitting down like, yeah, sure, why not? So as a part of the side plot, this kid's grandfather is part of the bad guys crew, Gasparde, and Gramps is not doing too hot. No one really cares enough to help him, nor the kid, until the kid steals a gun and tries to kill a pirate for his bounty. And Gasparde, he's like, yo kid, you got guts, knock yourself out. If you can kill a pirate and gain his bounty to save your grandfather, go nuts, man. And so the kid goes out in search of a pirate to kill, and he's so paranoid about this. And it is almost always played straight. He chooses to attack the Straw Hats, and yeah, that's not gonna work. But even then, he's never played off like a joke. The reason why he wants to attack this ship is because it looks like it's the weakest ship out of all of them. Chopper tries to tell the group, oh no, he's just overreacting. He wouldn't do it. And the kid's like, don't speak for me. Strong power move. But third, don't tempt this kid, Robin. Like, look at that kid. Bro is traumatized. Like, I'll do it, man. Don't think I won't. And they just let him. This is messed up. Of course it backfires on him, but just imagining his perspective. He's like, they handed me the gun. This is my one time to prove that I'm not messing around. And then he almost dies. From his perspective, he's just like, I'm screwed. I'm on a ship full of freaks. He legitimately sits down and says, just kill me. I messed up bad. After the whole Sea King situation, this poor child is just rethinking their entire life. The movie also has a pretty good twist, and it plays a strong role in actually wrapping up a lot of the story. Everyone was given an eternal pose to see who would make it to the final island first, except that location was a marine base. So every pirate was led to their death, except for Gasparde, who organized all of this with the creator of the race, which is what makes him the final enemy of this movie. We now have the individual motivation to get revenge for trying to get the Straw Hats killed. We get the side character motivation. He's responsible for getting the kid's grandfather in poor health. And Schreier is also out to kill Gasparde. Schreier's entire life goal has been to become a bounty hunter and take revenge on Gasparde. And I wasn't really expecting this to be a fight, but I am surprised by how destroyed it feels. Way more physical than a lot of other fights in this movie so far. Of course, Schreier doesn't get to beat Gasparde because well, Luffy's got to get in there too at some point. And because Luffy heard about all the bad things that Gasparde has done through this kid, Luffy's like, all right, we're gonna hunt him down. And as they're traveling to his ship, there's just something that hits right. You know, the atmosphere is different. He's just a bad guy on open ocean. And Luffy's flying straight at him, ready to fight. Luffy flies in, throws people off, knocks Gasparde out, because this is a pure 1v1 fight, baby! And we have somehow created yet another spectacle. We are not just fighting on a boat, we are fighting on a collapsing boat that's getting destroyed little by little. It's a steam-powered ship, and the grandfather who's there is going to blow up the steam-powered ship while they're fighting on it. As they're fighting, you can see the storm getting progressively worse. This is just a very impactful 1v1 fight. It feels way more violent and visceral. As a small side note, this movie was made, I think, during Skypiea, and because of that, we have different limitations as to how the crew fights. One of the more interesting methods is seeing Sanji hand these sacks over to Luffy, and why would he do that? Oh, well, it's because he's fighting Syrup Guy, and when you add flour to syrup, oh! This is like Alabasta. It was a very satisfying reveal that my brain wasn't even thinking about. One of the things that this movie portrays probably the best that I've seen in this franchise as a whole was the depiction of an actually threatening ocean. In this final fight, it is not caricaturized. It is just a cold, threatening depiction of the ocean. It is uncaring, cold, windy, and you feel every water droplet. And it makes for an amazing backdrop to this fight. By the end, we managed to wrap up the kid's storyline with Shreer and the grandfather by making the kid who Shreer had been looking for this entire time and thought was dead. I didn't really think we needed that, but I'm okay that it was there. We needed to wrap up the story somehow. And hey, this wraps it all up in a nice bow. In short, how do I know this was a good movie? Because I was smiling. Like, I couldn't stop laughing. It was charming. It was charming. It was nice. Dare I say, it had the set pieces. It had the interaction. It had what I've been looking for in these movies.